All right, live on YouTube, Rev Wayne Still.
Well, hey everyone, what's happening? How are you? This is Reverend Wayne Sills for Miracles Everywhere, and this is Daily Listen on Sunday. This is Sunday when I have more time to explore certain just for the lesson and explore the text. So relax, lay back. I'll be more mellow today. I'll be more relaxed and take my time because I do have more time. So. Get a cup of coffee. It was 11:30, 12:30 Eastern. I don't know, get a cup of coffee anyway. What the heck? Miracles everywhere. Let's get to it. There's some fun stuff today. I also have a little clip from Pete Holmes, one of my favorite comedians. Seems to have it going on. He knows. He knows. He gets it. He gets it. He's a left bomb. He is a comedian, and he's a mainstream comedian, but he knows what he's talking about. Then we'll get into some of the other stuff. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Just briefly, very briefly. Lesson 25. 25 is very similar to yesterday's. And then lesson what? I do not know my best interests. I don't perceive my best interests. Yesterday. Today, I don't know what anything is for. My screensaver says, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know nothing. The first, before we hit the lesson, which is practical, I'll tell you, it exercises, it develops the theory, the themes, the plots, no, much plots, the themes and the metaphysics, the cosmology presented in the text. The illusions of the ego. The illusions of the ego. The ego is quite delusional. I have a podcast, right from 2013, for the words we use. It goes over the different words we use to describe what we're doing here. Illusion, delusion, hallucination, and dreaming. For dreaming. Yes, but all of my computer cancels things out and I've heard dogs and in the background they know such a noise.
Chapter 4: The Illusions of the Ego. Introduction. The Bible says that you should go with a brother twice as far as he asks. It certainly does not suggest that you set him back on his journey. Devotion to a brother cannot set you back either. It can lead only to mutual progress. The result of genuine devotion is inspiration, a word which, properly understood, is the opposite of fatigue. To be fatigued is to be dispirited, but to be inspired is to be in the spirit. To be egocentric is to be dispirited, but to be self-centered in the right sense is to be inspired or in spirit. The truly inspired are enlightened and cannot abide in darkness. You can speak from the spirit or from the ego as you choose. If you speak from spirit, you have chosen to be still and know that I am God. These words are inspired because they reflect knowledge. If you speak from the ego, you are disclaiming knowledge instead of affirming it, and are thus dispiriting yourself. Do not embark on useless journeys, because they are indeed in vain. The ego may desire them, but spirit cannot embark on them because it is forever unwilling to depart from its foundation. The journey to the cross should be the last useless journey. Do not dwell upon it, but dismiss it as accomplished. If you can accept it as your own last useless journey, you are also free to join my resurrection. Until you do so, your life is indeed wasted. It merely reenacts the separation, the loss of power, the futile attempts of the ego at reparation, and finally the crucifixion of the body or death. Such repetitions are endless until they are voluntarily given up. Do not make the pathetic error of clinging to the old rugged cross. The only message of the crucifixion is that you can overcome the cross. Until then, you are free to crucify yourself as often as you choose. This is not the gospel I intended to offer you. We have another journey to undertake, and if you will read these lessons carefully, they will help prepare you to undertake it.
And now for the lesson.
Lesson 25. I do not know what anything is for. Purpose is meaning. Today's idea explains why nothing you see means anything. You do not know what it is for. Therefore, it is meaningless to you. Everything is for your own best interests. That is what it is for. That is its purpose. That is what it means. It is in recognizing this that your goals become unified. It is in recognizing this that what you see is given meaning. You perceive the world and everything in it as meaningful in terms of ego goals. These goals have nothing to do with your own best interests, because the ego is not you. This false identification makes you incapable of understanding what anything is for. As a result, you are bound to misuse it. When you believe this, you will try to withdraw the goals you have assigned to the world instead of attempting to reinforce them. Another way of describing the goals you now perceive is to say that they are all concerned with personal interests. Since you have no personal interest, your goals are really concerned with nothing. In cherishing them, therefore, you have no goals at all, and thus you do not know what anything is for. Before you can make any sense out of the exercises for today, one more thought is necessary. At the most superficial levels, you do recognize purpose. Yet purpose cannot be understood at these levels. For example, you do understand that a telephone is for the purpose of talking to someone who is not physically in your immediate vicinity. What you do not understand is what you want to reach him for. And it is this that makes your contact with him meaningful or not. It is crucial to your learning to be willing to give up the goals you have established for everything. The recognition that they are meaningless rather than good or bad is the only way to accomplish this. The idea for today is a step in this direction. 6 practice periods, each of 2 minutes duration, are required. Each practice period should begin with a slow repetition of the idea for today, followed by looking about you and letting your glance rest on whatever happens to catch your eye, near or far, important or unimportant, human or non-human. With your eyes resting on each subject you so select, say, for example, I do not know what this chair is for. I do not know what this pencil is for. I do not know what this hand is for. Say this quite slowly, without shifting your eyes from the subject until you have completed the statement about it. Then move on to the next subject and apply today's idea as before.
Go ahead, do it. It makes you feel very unattached. Puts you in touch with the actual fact that you're not really attached. The ego is death, and death is an illusion. The ego is a joke. The default is pleasure. Separation is a detour, not a fixed reality. Misalignment, born of fear, existing only in our perception. Truth is, everything is truly joy, power, pleasure, only. Our projections are all misperceptions. They're all incorrect perceptions. The urge to fill the emptiness with one's own ideas alters reality. Get it? We're to be fulfilled at all. We have to align ourselves with the source rather than invent our own meanings as if we have any clue. We have the way we look at fear and power is totally misunderstood. Misuse power. Our belief in power is the devil, natural. Here in our realm. We're eating the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The tree of knowledge of good to evil. Another way of looking at it. The tree of everything. Everything. Good to evil. Made to be. Alpha and Omega. Everything of this world. Indulge ourselves. Matter. Physicality. A detour. A detour is a detour we come back to where you were. A detour out of pleasure, into pain, back to pleasure. This is trying to, lesson is trying to get you to reorient yourself with emptiness. Loosening yourself from the idea that everything around you has substance. There's no cause. No cause is here, there's no effects here. It's just you. That's it. All right. What I'm going to do today, since I have time, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to start with the text. I might even start with a different text, something that I want to use the springboard. Springboard. To the whole week. Encapsulated in the what I read. I'm going to move around from place to place, actually, and we'll do it that way. I'm going to start with Beyond Perception. This is one of the things I like about this text. If I'm not mistaken, this is the text, I think, where it goes over our inability. You know, it was a step down process, going from where we were before we entered the physicality of the symbolic Garden of Eden, before we entered the symbology of eating from the tree of the world of matter. Before we ate from that tree, before we stepped down from absolute perfection, from absolute sanity, down to where we are now, total cuckoo-ness, total nuttiness, total insanity. I call it the divine mental breakdown from infinity to finity, from immortality to mortality, from sane to crazy. I have said that the abilities you possess are only shadows of your real strength. So the first line says it all. Our abilities are shadows of our real strength. Sad. And that perception, which is inherently judgmental, was introduced only after the separation. Now, the truth is, it's not really sad. The point I'm going to get to eventually is that when you know you're built a certain way, when you know that you function in a certain way, you can't really get too upset about it. It's sort of like I didn't create myself, and I created myself perfect. I mean, I was created perfect, but I also didn't create myself in terms of what I can remember. And occasionally, people have past life memories, but it's past life memories from the perspective of who you are now. I get angry at myself is the point I'm making for making mistakes, for screwing up. I'm here to make mistakes and screw up. That's the whole point. I wanted to experience mistakes. I wanted to experience what it was like to be insane. Inherently judgmental. No one has been sure of anything since. No one's been sure of anything since the separation. We introduced uncertainty into the equation. I've also made it clear that the resurrection was the means to return to knowledge, which was accomplished by the union of my will with the Father's. We have now established a distinction which will clarify our subsequent statements. You know what? I think I can do this. We'll make it more fun.
Since the separation, the words create and make have become confused. When you make something, you do so out of a specific sense of lack or need. Anything made for a specific purpose has no true generalizability. When you make something to fill a perceived lack, you are tacitly implying that you believe in separation.
Amazing. When you try to fill, you believe in lack. Well, most of our entire system is based on the idea that we need more and want more. That's why I said the other day. The more you do, the more you try to become that go-getter. Again, you have to do seemingly what you have to do here in the realm of matter in the post-Eden age, which was the realm of family and kids. If you notice what happened after Eden, the first thing that happened was they had kids and family, heartache, and work and doing. So just hanging out in the garden.
ACIM T3.V. The ego has invented many ingenious thought systems for this purpose. None of them is creative. Inventiveness is wasted effort even in its most ingenious form. The highly specific nature of
Inventiveness, no matter how inventive you are, how ingenious you are, It's wasted effort. That's what it says there. It's wasted effort. I mean, this is not much different than, well, all right, so we're not sinners, but we're dysfunctional. I mean, we're dysfunctional as so long as we don't accept the fact that we need to be led by the Spirit. Before we had a self-reliance thing going on. And we have that going on. It's hard not to. You raise kids, you don't raise kids to be dependent upon someone else. Even if that's someone else's spirit. You raise your kids to be independent. Think for yourself. How else are you going to do it? Well, you're scared for your kids. Your kids go out in the real world. They deal with people. You don't know the people. So you say things like, watch out. Be careful. Careful. There's a lot of snow out there. Careful in that car of yours. Careful.
Invention is not worthy of the abstract creativity of God's creations. Knowing, as we have already observed, does not lead to doing.
That's the quote of the century right there. Knowing does not lead to doing. And knowing is what we want to do. We want to know.
The confusion between your real creation and what you have made of yourself is so profound that it has become literally impossible for you to know anything. Knowledge is always stable, and it is quite evident that you are not. Nevertheless, you are perfectly stable.
Jesus can be kind of funny sometimes. Knowledge is always stable, and it's what evidence that you are not. That's what I mean by word saying now. We used to be one with God, one with ourselves, we're all one with each other and God. Totally sane. It's quite obvious we're not now. Confirmed by the Spirit.
As God created you. In this sense, when your behavior is unstable, you are disagreeing with God's idea of your creation. You can do this if you choose, but you would hardly want to do it if you were in your right mind. The fundamental question you continually ask yourself cannot properly be directed to yourself at all. You keep asking what it is you are. This implies that the answer is not only one you know, but is also one that is up to you to supply. Yet you cannot perceive yourself correctly. You have no image to be perceived. The word image is always perception related and not a part of knowledge. Images are symbolic and stand for something else.
That's key. Because everything's an image. And everything you're looking at is an image. Your body's an image. Living in other images. So everything you're looking at is a symbol of something else. It's a symbol of something invisible. Which means the invisible thing makes the symbol. Created the symbol. It creates, first you have the invisible thing, and then something symbolizes it. Nothing here is real. It's all symbolic. You don't understand the story, but then once you understand the story, then you can understand the symbols.
The idea of changing your image recognizes the power of perception, but also implies that there is nothing stable to know. Knowing is not open to interpretation.
Now, you know what that means? It means there's nothing. You can change your image, you can be whatever you want, and the power of perception is all you have to worry about. But no, there's something out there outside of perception. God does not play dice with the universe. There's something outside, there's knowledge. You can have wrong perceptions. There's right and wrong in terms of perception. None of them necessarily have guilt. Just like in baseball, you can strike out, you pop the ball out, you can get up to the plate and do no good for your team. You don't feel guilty about it. It's not like you're a bad guy. You just do the right thing up there. You screwed up, whatever it is. You better luck next time. You start sulking and feel guilty about it, you'll get benched. Baseball. And the whole team all sitting there, all depressed and sad, all weepy.
You may try to interpret meaning, but this is always open to error because it refers to the perception of meaning. Such incongruities are the result of attempts to regard yourself as separated and unseparated at the same time. It is impossible to make so fundamental a confusion without increasing your overall confusion still further. Your mind may have become very ingenious, but as always happens when method and content are separated, it is utilized in a futile attempt to escape from an inescapable impasse. Ingenuity is totally divorced from knowledge, because knowledge does not require ingenuity. Ingenious thinking is not the truth that shall set you free, but you are free of the need to engage in it when you are willing to let it go. Prayer is a way of asking for something. It is the medium of miracles. But the only meaningful prayer is for forgiveness, because those who have been forgiven have everything.
Forgiveness, it makes you realize that there's no cause and effect, or that you are the cause, but that you are the cause because there's really no cause and effect, and that you are pretending that there is one. And once you get a hold of that, eventually you realize, well, if that's the case, then you're not really causing anything. It's all a big fake job. It's all a hoax. And then that's how you let the cause go. If you feel that release.
ACM
No, shoot.
T3.v.1.
I keep pressing the wrong button. It goes all to the end. Let's start with that.
The ego has invented many ingenious thought systems for this purpose. None of them is creative. Inventiveness is wasted effort even in its most ingenious.
We did that. I think it was over here.
The fundamental question you continually ask yourself cannot properly be directed to yourself at all. You keep asking what it is you are. This implies that the answer is not only one you know, but is also one that is up to you to supply. You may try to interpret meaning, but this is always open to error because it refers to the perception of meaning. Such incongruities are the result of attempts to regard yourself as separated and unseparated at the same time. It is impossible to make so fundamental a confusion without increasing your overall confusion still further. You have lost the knowledge that you yourself are a miracle of God. Creation is your source and your only real function. The statement, God created man in his own image and likeness, needs reinterpretation. Image can be understood as thought, and likeness as of a like quality. God did create spirit in his own thought and of a quality like to his own. There is nothing else. Perception, on the other hand, is impossible without a belief in more and less. At every level, it involves selectivity. Perception is a continual process of accepting and rejecting, organizing and reorganizing, shifting and changing. Evaluation is an essential part of perception because judgments are necessary in order to select. What happens to perception? Perceptions if there are no judgments and nothing but perfect equality? Perception becomes impossible. Truth can only be known. All of it is equally true, and knowing any part of it is to know all of it. Only perception involves partial awareness. Knowledge transcends the laws governing perception because partial knowledge is impossible. It is all one and has no separate parts. You who are really one with it need but know yourself, and your knowledge is complete. To know God's miracle is to know Him. Forgiveness is the healing of the perception of separation.
That's key. As I said before, say it again. Forgiveness is key. Whenever you forgive somebody, what you forgive is for what they've never done. So what you're doing is you're constantly reminding yourself that that illusion is what you're dealing with, an illusion. You're constantly reminding yourself of that. You don't just forgive people. You forgive every condition. You forgive conditions that you're in. You forgive life. You forgive God. You forgive every situation you're in. You forgive. You forgive. You forgive. Even your attitude towards God, yes, you forgive it. If you're angry at God, I forgive you, God. And what you're really forgiving is your understanding of God. Your understanding of who God is has nothing to do with who God is. We're usually more in line with who the devil is.
Correct perception of your brother is necessary because minds have chosen to see themselves as separate. Spirit knows God completely. That is its miraculous power. The fact that each one has this power completely is a condition entirely alien to the world's thinking. The world believes that if anyone has everything, there is nothing left. But God's miracles are as total as His thoughts because they are His thoughts. As long as perception lasts, prayer has a place. Since perception rests on lack, those who perceive have not totally accepted the atonement and given themselves over to truth. Perception is based on a separated state, so that anyone who perceives at all needs healing. Communion, not prayer, is the natural state of those who know. God and His miracle are inseparable. How beautiful indeed are the thoughts of God who live in His light. Your worth is beyond perception because it is beyond doubt. Do not perceive yourself in different lights. Know yourself in the one light where the miracle that is you is perfectly clear. ACIM T3.V.1:1, 10:9.
Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, perception. I have said you believe perception. All right, so basically what we have here is well, it's just, the confusion between the real creation and what you were made of yourself is so profound that it's literally impossible for you to know anything. That's the key that I want to punch up. It's impossible for us to know anything here. And it's that admission, that awakening, knowing the awakening to that knowledge, because that's knowledge right there. You know that. You know that you know nothing. What was the movie? I know now that I don't know. Who was the Grincher? or humbug guy, whatever his name was. You know, the guy who was hated Christmas and down there. They loved Christmas. That's knowledge right there. So that's the first step. And then you have a problem. Nevertheless, you are perfectly stable as God created you. So when you say that you're unstable, when you act unstable, you're saying to yourself and you're saying to everyone else, guess what? God's an idiot. I disagree with him. I'm a small, fragile, unstable figure who lives in a small little Newtonian universe, squashed on a planet by gravity, who will eventually be killed by gravity and the universe. Time will eventually have me. Time and space is more powerful than me, my puny little me. This is the height of insanity. This is what eating that fruit did to us. We couldn't handle the knowledge of good and everything from good to evil. That's what God said, don't do it. You guys aren't going to be able to handle that stuff. You're not me. I transcend it. You won't. Not when you and then with your eyes closed. That's what we walk around. We did not walk in this situation with our eyes wide open. We literally, if you can say, walked in there with our eyes closed. All of us went into a room that was pitch black and deliberately set it up so we smash into things. We wanted to feel what it's like to strip and feel stupid and feel pain. Well, what do you think? It's fun. But, hey, we're mad. And we feel like we're mad at least. We feel like we're imprisoned. All I can say is enjoy the loony bin. Enjoy it with love. Share the light of God. Be one of those prisoners that is in the religious corner. So is the safest people say. You keep asking what you are. You cannot perceive yourself correctly. So stop trying to figure out what you are. You have no idea, and you can't know. That's the knowledge. Knowledge is that you can't get knowledge. Now it's a sort of paradox, right? Because that's knowledge. When you read the Spirit, when the Course or the other the Course says, "Hey, oh, you can't know a thing," he's saying implicitly, except this right here, this little piece of knowledge that you can't know a thing. That you know, and that's the opening right there. If you know more, that's your awakening. That's your portal to awakening. I don't know. That's your portal to knowing. You peel away the I don't know, but you got to put it there first. The statement. I enjoy reading this over here. The statement God created man in his own image and likeness needs reinterpretation. Image can be understood as God's thought. So God created man in his own thought, with his own as a thought, his thought, or God's thought. This is not necessarily might come across a little bit of a different topic almost, but this is more of a comfort to know that we are God's thoughts. We are God's thought. We are all one thought, God's thought. We are the dreamer's thoughts, and the dreamer's thought is a dream of perfection. That's what he says. At that point today, he said everything is working in our favor. Everything is perfect. That's what everything is for. Everything you're looking at is for helpful to help you. When you look at something, know for a fact that's there to help you. Look at it and say, how can that possibly help me? That book over there? That book helps me by helping me, inspiring me, encouraging me. This computer, it opens me up to vast vistas of stuff. And if for some reason you can't figure it out, how it can help you, well, you just determine to say, well, it helps me by just being there. Helps me because it feels good to see it there, whatever it is. That person helps me just by being there. I'm determined. I just determined that's the case. Remember, we're like God's thought also implies that we are perfect. And then we're the same completely as everyone, all the same everywhere. So this whole idea of less and more and less is not true either. So we compare ourselves to others, to stand out, all that kind of stuff. You're constantly misaligning yourself with Source, with God. When you see how your similarities with others, when you're looking at others and how they relate to you in a positive way, when you say, "How is that person similar to me? How do I correlate with that other person? How do I further develop my personality in keeping with that person's personality? How are we the same? How am I the same with everything around me? How are we all the same thought?" Then you're moving in the correct direction. You're moving in the correct direction. So long as we're thoughts, then we're vulnerable. We're one thought, one power, one mind, one spirit, and eventually just one word. Peace. And on that note, believe it or not, my time has come to an end. 4 minutes to spare. But this is Miracles Everywhere. Miracles Everywhere. For today's lesson, and to remind us I don't know what anything is for. I do not know what anything is for. I do not know what anything for. I have no idea what anything is for. Nothing. Anything. That's some things. A few things. Nothing. Anything, anybody, anywhere. No clue. It's cool. Okay. Alright, so God bless you all, and I'll be here tomorrow. I'm gonna say it tomorrow, it's 2 p.m. Eastern. Until then, God bless you all. Blessings and peace.